Psalms 23, a psalm of David. This is from the NLT. The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to his name. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect me and comfort me. You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. You honor me by anointing my head with oil. My cup overflows with blessings. Surely your goodness and unfailing love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will live in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. I love reading this one because it's confirmation. It's confirmation that I'm not alone, and neither are you. So it's confirmation that we are not alone. It says that he pursues us. So he pursues us so intently, just like we pursue that addiction. That thing that we think is going to bring us comfort, really the thing that is going to is chasing after you. And you're going toward a facade that's in the world that we're told brings comfort. On this journey of now being sober and just trying to build a new life without that addiction, I've begun to take dance classes. I go to therapy every week, like clockwork. I'm there. And 1 week in particular, it was just a really heavy week. So when I went to dance class, we stretched prior to, and I'm in the class talking about how I didn't know what to do. Therapy wasn't hitting it the way I wanted it to be hit. And I was using all of my tools just to get out of bed in the morning. And that happens. Just because you're not partaking in libations or whatever your drug of choice is, doesn't mean that life gets great. It gets hard sometimes. And the goal is to have the tools. That's why we go to rehab. Like I said last season, that's why we go to therapy. But sometimes you need more tools. The toys that you would play with as a 3-year-old, as a 4-year-old, as a 7-year-old, they don't look the same as the toys that you played with when you were 16 and 18. It's not the same. By 18, you might not even be playing with toys anymore. So it's the same thing with your tools. When you went to rehab and you're like new in it, you get the basic set of tools, and it's your job to A, play with them all the way through, and B, build them as best as you can until you learn more. So at this particular time, I was 1 year sober, and the situation had gone awry, and I was using all of my rehab tools and some of the ones I got in therapy, and it was not enough. I was losing my mind to the point where I had even considered going to Costa Rica and doing ayahuasca, yes, in the jungles of Costa Rica, not knowing if that would put my sobriety at risk either. That's another thing. You shouldn't play like that. But in order to get in touch with something that it just wasn't connecting, something was not hitting the way I needed it to, and I was so lost. And again, that's an addiction mindset. I was looking for something outside of myself to help. Going to the jungles of Costa Rica to do ayahuasca is looking for something outside of yourself to bring you comfort. And sometimes those thoughts come and you need to address them because that's a problem. So I'm in the class and I'm telling them, guys, I'm using all of my tools and I'm really losing my ish. And there's a lady in the class who was always very kind. She's older than us. It's a pole dancing class, y'all. She's a bit older than us, more seasoned and everything. And she doesn't speak a lot. And after the class, she came up to me and she said, I have something that I think would help you a lot. I'm like, okay, because these days I live my life like I have nothing to lose. I have absolutely nothing to lose, except for my cat babies and God, please. So I'm like, okay, I'm open to any suggestions that you can give me. And at this time, I was genuinely desperate. So it was spend $6,000 to go to Costa Rica and do ayahuasca and puke my brains out and talk to God face to face. That's what they say. And who knows if you're really talking to God face to face. You don't have to go to the jungles of Costa Rica and do ayahuasca to talk to God face to face. Understand that. I didn't get that at the time. Or see what this lady had to offer me. So she offered me something called Pathway Seminars. Their seminar wasn't until September. And it was the end of April. And I'm like, I need something now. Well, God provided in the meantime, and I did not go to Costa Rica and do ayahuasca, and I saved $8,000, $6,000 to $8,000. But when September rolled around and I got to go to the Pathway seminars, it was in Chicago. You stay from Friday to Sunday, and every day you're in there from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. It's a group of people you never met before, and it's kind of like Fight Club. So I can't tell you exactly what happened, but you might want to look into it after I say what I have to say. So they make you do plenty of exercises. To me, it was reminiscent of rehab. It was like rehab 2.0. And again, more tools, new tools. The seminar is about success in your life, pursuing success in your life. For me, that looked like getting out of my own way, but that's all I had. At the time, the message in my heart was, get out of your own way. What does that mean? I'm the only one with me on a regular basis. I'm in my way. Where am I at? I couldn't figure it out. So I went to the seminar and they asked me what I wanted. I said, I want to get out of my own way. I'm trying to pursue success. And I don't know how to get out of my own way. I don't even know what that means, but I have nothing to lose and I'm here. And that's the message I got. So they had us do an exercise in a room of strangers of all ages, all shapes, all sizes, all colors. We had 3 options. We had to go around for a few minutes and tell the people, each one face to face, you had to look them in the eye and tell them whether you trusted them, you didn't trust them, or you didn't know if you could trust them. Now, the reason why they don't want us to share these things is because that's an uncomfortable exercise. And I will tell you, in that moment, I said, oh, hell no. I took a lap. I went around in a circle. I said, oh, hell no. I'm not telling these people, because I knew I was going to tell them I didn't trust them. I just knew it. I'm not telling these people that so they could look at me some kind of way and feel all kinds of ways about what I have to say. And what are they going to do? I didn't even, honestly, that's funny. I didn't know what they were going to say to me, and I didn't care. I knew I didn't trust none of them. So we do the exercise. We do 3 rounds of it. First round, I went around to everyone that I saw, and I had to look them in the face and say, I don't know if I can trust you. By the end of that first round, I was like, please just let us sit down. This is so disgusting and uncomfortable, and I'm sure I just pissed some people off, and they're going to be mad for the next 3 days. So then she's like, do it again. So we had another round where you had to go up to people you didn't talk to and do it again. I told one person I trusted them, and I'm going to be honest with you. It's because she looked like me. And you heard what I said, and I'm sure you have those prejudices too. And again, you're in your own way by doing that. I'm not saying you're racist. I'm saying the word prejudice is to prejudge someone. Who's to say that the person looked like me was the most trustworthy person in the room? Now, I'm not saying she wasn't. Shout out to Marie, but you heard what I said. So I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to do this again. In round 2, I only told one person that I trusted them. She told me she trusted me too. There was also another lady that looked at me. She looked me in my eyes and she said, I trust you. And there was a few people that said it, but when she said it, my entire heart shattered inside of my body. Number 1, because how could you trust me? You don't know me. I really do you crazy. And that's not where my heart is at, but I can. It's a facade. You see the wall go up and down? Yeah. Number 2 was just hearing it was nice. That you're not thinking that I'm going to do you wrong and you don't know me. You're not thinking that. You're saying, hey, to me, to say that I trust you means that I'm open to experiencing you. I'm open to having the conversations and sitting with you and such. So it touched me. But now, mind you, I'm going around to everybody. I don't know if I could trust you. Round 3. Everybody in round 3 told me they did not trust me, and I was mad like that. Some people, I was like, how dare you? I really don't trust you. What you talking about? Other people, it was like, oh, that hurt. Halfway through round 3, I was questioning, why do I not feel like I can trust these people? Is this the definition of being in your own way? Feeling as though you have to keep everyone 10 feet away like it's COVID? Is that what being in your own way feels like? You need to address that. I heard, who hurt you? And 3 names came up off the top. Didn't even think about it twice. 3 names came up. And then the next thought was, well, you don't trust anybody in here, really. Do you even trust yourself? And I was like, excuse me, how dare you? Of course I trust myself. I'm me. I'm Dominé Spinelli. Of course, I'm the only person in this world I could trust. And by the end of the night, I was in bed after that. And once I got in my bed, I asked again, Dominé, do you really trust yourself? And I had come to the conclusion that I would like to trust myself more. I can trust myself with some things, but then we have to acknowledge the sinful nature, right? There is a part of you you cannot trust. Your heart is deceitfully wicked. There is a part of you that you cannot trust. So then it just made me evaluate, well, how much can you trust? And how much do you trust? And I've kind of been looking at myself with a side eye ever since. So then when I asked myself, do you trust yourself? And after reflecting on it further, you have to question, as someone who was in an active addiction for 7 years, should you trust yourself? And then you have to think again, right? God got you out of that situation. Should you really trust yourself? Are you sure? And that would explain my hesitance in not trusting myself, because I did me wrong for so many years. So then I wonder why I did me wrong, right? So we have to live like children. Once you're in therapy, you begin to live like a child, and you just keep asking why until you say, ooh, that hurts, right? So then I said, well, why were you in active addiction that long? We figured out why you shouldn't trust yourself. Now, why? Well, then I got to, well, you didn't feel like you were worthy. You believe in yourself. Maybe you don't believe enough. Maybe there's areas you just don't believe. Just because you feel as though you're going to be very successful one day doesn't mean that you believe that you're going to be in a faithful relationship. Doesn't mean that you feel like you deserve friends. Doesn't mean that you feel like you deserve help in the career field. So that feeling of not deserving led me to do things that squandered the trust that I have with myself. The first time that I can remember having an issue with trusting myself, I was maybe it was before the 4th grade, I can say that for sure. And to all my Somervillians out there, y'all know we used to go to Park Ave. We used to go to Park Ave all summer long when school wasn't in. And we would stay there all day from the time they opened to the time they closed, and our parents would take us home. And this one particular day, we pull up, my mom drops us off at the pool, my sister and I, and the Martin Luther King Center is at the pool. Now, to anyone from Somerville, y'all know, y'all Martin Luther King Center kids was rolling deep and doing a lot. And I'm gonna leave it just like that. And to the people who aren't from Somerville, Bridgewater area, if you noticed, anything with the name Martin Luther King has a bad rep. So you can imagine them kids. So let's just imagine some kids, right? Rolling deep at the pool. Never mind the regular kids that come every day. We used to come every day. So we pull up to the park, and they got 2 buses of Martin Luther King Center kids there. And we pulled to the park, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I say to my mom, like, oh no, like, Mom, do we really have to go? She's like, why? Now, the reality of what I was saying is that these kids be doing a lot. They be yelling and pushing and fighting and running. You're not supposed to run at the pool. We know that. I just like following the rules. You're not supposed to do that. And the Martin Luther King kids was doing that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then it was like, they was rolling so deep. Like I said, 2 buses in this little bitty pool. So we was in there, maybe enough room for your elbows. And I said to my mom, I was like, I don't really want to go. Like, this is crazy. Now, mind you, she dropped us off at the pool because she was late to work. And it was just quicker for her to do that. I'm slowing her down by saying this. But she doesn't want to put her kids in uncomfortable situations, so she's inquiring on why. And I'm like, Mom, because we're better than them, right? Those are the words that came out. Now, mind you, just like in a dictionary, words have multiple meanings. That's the phrase that came out of my mouth. Yes, it did. She didn't have the time to understand what I was saying. She took it the way that she got on the surface and left it there. She took it as I thought that we were better than those kids, uppity, if you will, right? That's from her own experiences, projecting. You project when you don't ask the right questions and try to get to the root of it. No shame. Like I said, she was in a rush trying to provide for her kids, but you heard what I said. I meant it as though we're better, well-behaved. We follow the rules. We don't throw your towels into the pool. We don't push and run. That's what I meant. So she said, girl, don't worry about that. Get out the car. We get out the car, we have a day at the pool, whatever. Later on that night, she picks us up from our babysitter's house. She takes us to my grandmother's house. Now, I guess she had told my grandmother what I said before I got out the car. And now you have to remember, let's give it context. My grandmother is an Italian woman that had relations with African-American men. She wanted to march with the king. Her father wouldn't let her. And we don't have to go into the research, but if you look, there's plenty of history there. And she stood for equality and just loving everybody. She would give the shirt off her back. She gave away more room in her houses to kids, all her kids' age and everything. Like people that got pregnant would stay with her if their parents kicked them out. She had a very open heart. So I get it. We will give grace where grace is due. And again, it's about playing a game of telephone and getting misconstrued. So my mother took my statement this way and brought it to my grandmother this way. My grandmother's history projected it this way as well, the same way my mother's did because of her history. That none of that is in my reality. So she says to me, Dama, I heard what you said about those kids at the pool. You're not better than anybody. Don't think that. You're not better than anybody. And I'm not going to slander her. Those are the only words I can remember, so that's where I will stop. But I just remember being reprimanded by the matriarch of the family and she made it understood that I wasn't better than anybody. Now, that's not what I meant, but that's the angle that they took, right? Now, mind you, I walked around with this thought for years. Now let's go back to the Pathway seminar. Let's go back to my time in that room, laying in that bed, trying to figure out why I can't trust these people. Why I can't trust myself. Why I didn't feel worthy, therefore I ruined my trust with myself, doing things that were untrustworthy, right? So the thought is, you're not better than anybody. That's what I'm told in the 3rd or 4th grade, right? You're not better than anybody. And that followed me throughout my adulthood, as well as getting misconstrued because it's not what I meant. I'm better behaved. That much is the truth. I am better behaved. I have very good manners. They love me at the bank because I say please and thank you. So as an adult, the whole thought is I'm not good enough. I'm not better. Like I have to do more. I was a Barney kid, okay? I was a Barney kid. Please and thank you are the magic words. When you walk past someone, you say, excuse me. When someone walks past you, you acknowledge that there is another life moving past you. You don't look at the floor, you keep your head up. I'm not better than anybody, but I do believe in myself and I do know how to show respect to other people in the room. But again, it puts itself in your subconscious and you move around life like that. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not better than anybody. Almost, and then of course the enemy has to come in where there's a crack, right? And say, yeah, you're not special either, right? That's why your dad's not here, right? She's not even special enough for your dad to do his job. These are the lies. And it all comes from just being misconstrued initially. And so now let's talk about the importance of therapy, right? I walked around with that for years. And after Rehab 2.0 Pathway seminars, I was able to address it and see the root of that. Now I had to take that deep memory that hurt real bad and take it to my therapist and say, hey, what can you do with this? Hey, what can you do with this? It hurts really bad and I don't know how to get rid of it.
I kind of just walk around with it every day, everywhere I go. I know it's not true, but I really respected the person that said it. And it was a private conversation that got taken out of context, but it really hurts a lot, and it impacts my trust. Think about the trust aspect. I was talking to my mom. I was having a regular conversation, and it was taken, and it came to dinner with us. The conversation was had in the morning in a rush, and it came to dinner with us that night. And then it stayed with me for at least 15 years. And that's the importance of therapy. When you start to go to therapy, things will kick up like dust almost. They'll just start to come up. And a lot of times you don't realize how powerful you are and how powerful your brain is. Things that hurt you, you can push them so far back in your mind, you never have to think about it again. But once you begin to dig, they just start popping up out of nowhere. And it is your job not to say, hey, go back to the back where you were. Or, oh my God, that's so true. You're right. It's your job to take it to your therapist, to take it to a friend, a real friend that's not going to bring it back up and use it against you, to take it to God. You have plenty of choices who you can take it to and say, hey, I can't use this anymore. What can you do with it? Because I don't want it anymore. This song is Fear by Lecrae, and ironically, it starts with Psalms 23. And then if I'm not mistaken, throughout the song, he puts in Psalms 23 in different languages. People are also doing it in different languages as well. So it's very poetic. It's a beautiful song. I discovered Lecrae when I was actively pursuing Jesus the first time. I was about 22, 23. I had a friend who put me on to Christian music. So Lecrae, Andy Mineo, Derek Minor, those are, listen, if I say it, you go listen to it. I got good taste in music. And what I like to do is to just download. When someone gives me an artist, I download all their stuff. And when I need it the most, it comes up on my Apple Music. I'll just put it on shuffle. And whenever I need it the most, the song will come up. Well, this song came up a few times. And it wasn't until now that I'm actively pursuing again. I was like, whoa, this is so powerful what he's saying. And when I found it initially, I wasn't seeking any help. It wasn't like that. It was just me and Jesus, but I was still living my worldly life. Now that I've done the work and it comes up, it's like, whoa, this is really how we're living every day, all the time. And you don't have to live this way because of Psalms 23. He tells you already, you don't have to live like that no more. It's your choice. I think it was Pastor Flowers that said fear can stand for flee everything and run, or it can stand for face everything and rise. You can choose which one you want to do. Fear and faith are like sisters. They are both the belief in things that you can't see with your eyes. A lot of times when you fear things, you've never seen them yourself. You ever been in a swimming pool and you close your eyes? This is like a kid thought, but you ever been in a swimming pool, you close your eyes and you think like, oh my gosh, a shark is gonna come. Like, yo, you were in a chlorine pool. Like, you never seen nothing like that in your whole life. You've never seen a shark in a swimming pool, but your fear tells you like, this is what's happening. Oh my gosh, I'm so freaked out. And you psych yourself out and none of it is real. It's never happened. You're still living. You never got eaten by a shark in a swimming pool. And then verse 1. I honestly grow insecure as I get older, because even when you hot, there comes a day when you get colder. Comes a day when you get slower. Time taking its toll. 45 on the back of the jersey upon your soul. I'm scared of letting go. I don't know what the future holds. Then the beat kicks up, he goes crazy. My nightmares are having nightmares. I'm quite scared of what's right and fair. How I fare in eternity. Will I hear well done when he turns to me? Will I hear you care too much about this stuff that really don't matter? You chased the wind and you won it. Got to the top of a 2-foot ladder. What's after I can capture all this mess my heart was after? Will I end up empty-handed when I stand before my master? Did I master the mathematics of a passive disaster? Adding my selfish ambition, all the while subtracting from what matters? I don't know. And then the chorus says, late nights, I can't sleep. Will I fall? When I peek through the curtains, all I see, fingers pointing at me, and they watching, and I'm wondering what they thinking about.
At late nights, I can't sleep, counting cash, counting sheep. Through the curtains, all I see, fingers pointing at me. And I'm watching, and I'm watching, and I'm wondering what they thinking about. This episode is dedicated to my dear friend Despina Silovakides. Let me spell it because she had like the coolest last name. T''Sivelekidis. Yes, that's a lot of letters. I met her when we were in the 6th grade, and I was new to Bridgewater. We moved to Bridgewater, and I couldn't open my locker. Sometimes it takes my brain a little longer to get things like that. I couldn't open my locker. Her locker was on top of mine. I was on the bottom, and she was just this tiny little thing. And she switched lockers with me. By God's grace, she switched lockers with me, so I would be up higher and she was down low. And then she taught me how to open my locker. Well, first she opened my locker every day for like 3 months. And then one day I got it, but she would teach me every time. And we had become friends ever since. I was new to the town, and I was one of very few Black girls. She was Greek. And I will say that was one of my first exemplifications of learning trust. Learning to trust someone that owes me nothing. She didn't have to open my locker for me every day. To be honest, it took her 3 months to get fed up about it. And she did it every day with a smile. We became friends. We would have lunch together. Despina died in 2021. She lost her battle to addiction. I think about her all the time. She was really a good friend to me. We used to go to the beach. We would talk a lot. This is like back in the day of like AOL chats. We would send emails to each other. We would just email each other back and forth, having like text message conversation on emails. We would play video games and go watch scary movies together. And she was the first person to ever take me to a hookah lounge. And girl, I've been addicted since, okay? So I just thank her for the time that I got to spend with her. I'm very grateful for my friend. And to this, in regards to fear, I would like to say once we graduated high school, we always would see each other and say, yeah, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna hang out. And me living the life that I was living and doing the things that I was doing, and just us being different. And for whatever reason in my mind, we were so different, like we weren't friends years before. I was afraid to pick up the phone and text my friend who wanted to hear from me too. I would wish her a happy birthday every day on the wrong day, her birthday. I always got it wrong. I don't even want to attempt it right now. I always got it wrong. I was like a day early or a day late. And for whatever reason, I let fear stop me from hanging out with someone that I genuinely enjoyed and trusted. So please, don't waste your time. Tomorrow's not promised. And I had no idea that she had a battle with addiction. I might not have been too much help, but I could have been a friend. And I didn't even have the chance. I had no idea. And that bothers me because she always said, yeah, we're gonna hang out, we ain't gonna hang out. And I never had the strength to pick up the phone and call her. So I dedicate this episode to her. Despina, moving forward, I'm trying to be fearless and I'm trying to be trusting. No. Moving forward, I am fearless and I'm trying to be more trusting so I can make more Greek friends and have a good time. Thank you. You didn't owe me anything and you were great. It was a pleasure. I love you, and I love seeing you in my dreams. She never talks in my dreams, y'all. She never talks in my dreams, but I do love seeing her. So, thank you. If you think, even in the slightest, that you are being crippled by an addiction, or if you have something that you would like to get rid of because it's slowing you down, there are numbers to call, and we will post them. Remember, all you have to do is take the first step in that direction, and the rest will be given to you. Let's have a fear showdown. Share your biggest fears, no matter how irrational, and how you face them head on, using the hashtag #FearlessDroppers. Who knows? Your story might just be the liquid courage someone needs. And remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and give us 5 stars if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, as well as subscribing and turning on your notification bell so you can know when I come back.
Thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope you had your tissues close by, and I'll see you next week.